Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So this is going to be a guide going over food buffs in the game. Today Sega did an update to the game and they changed around how food buffs work a little bit. We're able to have 2 additional effects now instead of just having one maxed out effect. Before you could only max out like one thing. Like most of us would use like crispy meats to have weak point damage maxed out along with potency maxed out. But I'm going to go ahead and explain to y'all. And further in the video here, I'm going to be doing something with an interactive guide showing y'all the like maps and how to use the map to find like whatever vegetables or fruit or meats, anything that you want to find, resources and stuff. There is an interactive map where you can find your recipes that you want to farm daily. I'm going to show you all my personal farm that I do daily. That's pretty quick to find the items that I'm going to be using in these buffs here. So if we go to the review here, you can see here for my Retem setup now, it only takes 5 items of a food item now to max out your buffs. So previously it would have took me 10 crisp meats to max out this meat potency 10% and also the weak point damage 5%. But now as you can see, I'm only using 5 crisp meats here. So now I'm also able to throw in other combinations of things. So you don't want to use extra meat. So let me get that out of the way first, because the maximum meat buff is going to be the potency 10% up there at the top, right? So you can see that the meat potency is maxed out. So from here, you're going to want to start mixing in like either vegetables, fruits, or seafood. So you're going to want to find one that you want to use like 4 of an item of too. And for me personally, I'm going to be going with crisp for the weak point damage, and I'm also going with rich for the PP consumption reduction because I found that to be pretty good. So you can see my setup that I'm using here. I'm using meat potency 10%, vegetable damage resistance 5%, seafood HP 8.5%, as well PP from fruit for 10. And since I'm using a rich and a crisp setup here, you can see that the region match effect that I'm going to have is going to give me 5% weak point damage and as well PP consumption negative 10%. So it's a pretty nice little solid setup. Now for those of you who don't know, we're going to be going through a little bit deep dive further into like how this works. So if you see, currently I'm in the Retem region, right? And you can see that there's this region match effect in the middle of the screen. Now I have these other foods here, and if I go to select like my Stia food set, for example, you can see that that region match effect disappears, right? Even though I'm using the exact same recipes down here. You can see down here I'm using 1 vegetable, 1 fruit, 3 seafood, and also 5 meat. Now when I go to my Stia setup, it's the exact same thing. 1 vegetable, 1 fruit, 3 seafood, and also 5 meat. But as you can see, the region effect is going away. So you always want to make sure that you eat the food from the region that you're in. So if I eat the Retem food right here that I'm looking at in the Retem region, it's going to give me that region match effect. Now from here, after I have that buff, it's going to last for 4 hours and I'll be able to use it anywhere in the game. So I can go eat here and then I can travel to like Alio and do content there, or Stia and do content there, whatever, and I'll have that region match effect still active. Now if I was to use the Stia food here in Retem, I would not get that. I would only get the effects that it shows up here at the very top, right? So I'd be missing that region match effect. So if y'all wasn't aware, Neon City, the Nameless City Entertainment Zone update came to the game today, and the inboxes from this actually gives all the various food items from the Stia region too. So there's actually a nice like Stia food farm to get like all the various like crisp meats and just different stuff like that. It'll all come from the end drop box that you get inside of Neon City. Okay, so I'm going to show you all a nice helpful tool here that you all can use, and I'm going to have links to this in the video description below. One's going to be this interactive PSO2 NGS map. This is a really nice tool to have. And the other one's going to be the PSO2 Arcs Vision Phone, where it shows like all the icons of what the vegetables and fruits and stuff like that looks like. So the reason you would want to do this is, so if you look over here on this interactive map, you can see that I have for these different regions, you can see like you can click on these tabs here for like Alio, Kvaris, Retem, and so forth. And if I was to click on Retem right now, for example, if I click on these fruits here, you can't actually see like what the names of these are here on this website. But this, like as long as you know what the symbol looks like for what you're looking for, you can see like over here, I looked up on the Arcs Vision Phone, I was looking for a rich Retem round eggplant. So I can see this icon kind of looks like a weed or something here. And if I go over to this interactive map, you can see that I have it highlighted right here. If I click on it, it's going to show over here in the region, all these green dots are lining up whenever I'm clicking on that, right? You see that over there clicking? Or like if I click on these cherries here, for example, in the middle of the screen, it's in the middle of Retem there, central Retem, it's showing those cherries flashing. And this is going to be locations where you can go to on the map. You can even zoom in over here and so forth, you know, and you can kind of get an idea of where all these things are. Anything that you click on here is going to start popping up there on the screen. So this is what you would do with that. And something else that you can do to make this a lot simpler is up here at the top, you can see where there's landmarks. So I could go ahead and put like all these things clicked on too, like the Ryukers. I can make those all show, the cocoons, the region mags, and so forth, the trigger portals and stuff. That way so I can see like an even better idea of where all the stuff that I'm going to go to travel to pick up these things are. So like over here, for example, in Central Retem, you can see that there would be a Ryuker right here next to all these cherries, and there's a cocoon right here next to all these cherries, and then there's also another Ryuker in the pyramid basically right here next to these other cherries, you know, so it's going to help me navigate myself around the map. So basically you can do whatever items you're looking for, just make sure you find the icon off of the vision phone here so you know what to look for. And then once you activate that over here on the region map, just click on whatever you want to do, and you'll be able to find the items that you're looking for. A couple of quick mentions here for y'all whenever it comes to gathering your daily food. So when it comes to meats, those respawn as much as you want. Like you can constantly farm meats all day. Just as long as you find a tame meat and kill it, you're going to be getting some meat from a tame. Now when it comes to like your shellfish, your fruit, and also your vegetables, that's a set spawn, and there's only so many of those you can gather per day, and that's going to reset off of the same time as the dailies. So for me, that's going to be 7 in the morning Eastern time. You can look at your dailies here to see what time it's going to reset for you, so those respawn off of that. Now when it comes to like gathering on your map, I'm going to open the world map here and show you all. There's actually a nice little trick you can do. You can see I've placed all these little icons here, like these rich carrots, these rich vegetables. I put these icons here because I know that's where these things spawn, and you can place these icons. If you look down at the bottom of the map down here, you can see that there's actually like little key guide, and place waypoint is what you're looking for there. So for me, it's going to be pressing the X button. So if I was to go in the location that I'm standing and then I was to press X, it's going to bring up this little icon here for waypoints, right? And if I hit the RB button, it actually shows icons, and I can click on the icon, and there's a whole bunch of different icons here that I could drop. So just choose whichever one you want, like whether it be like fruits or shellfish or like vegetables, just whatever you might be doing. And you can place a little note there too on top of that icon. So whatever I was to write out here, it would actually like put that on the icon, and then whenever I'm looking around the map, I can highlight that icon. It's going to tell me what's there, you know. And so this actually shows on the area map too, so it makes navigation to whatever you're looking for much smoother. So this is a really good reference point for whatever types of like recipe items you're wanting to farm. Okay, so most of you likely already know a bit about food, but let me briefly explain a bit to help you consider your choices when deciding on what food recipe you'll want to use. So there is 4 types of ingredients for food. There is meat, fruit, vegetables, and seafood. These all give their own primary boost effect when used. Meat gives a damage boost and should always be maxed out. Be sure to use 5 to get that sweet 10% damage bonus. Fruit gives PP up, vegetables give damage resistance, and seafood gives HP up. Now going along with that, there is a subcategory for all food which gives a region match effect. So for example, this means you want to only consume food from Kvaris in the Kvaris region. That way you would trigger the region match effect. Once the food is consumed in that region, the match effect would work in all areas of the game until that food buff expires, which is 4 hours of game time. So you're totally fine to go consume food in Kvaris region with Kvaris food, getting that region match effect, and then you can play anywhere else. You can go to Stia and you'll have all those bonuses still active over in Stia. So these subcategories is going to be rich, light, crisp, and robust. Rich will give PP cost reduction, light will give PP recovery boost, crisp will give weak point damage, and robust will give HP recovery boost, which means when you use a rest assign, it will recover more. Out of all of these, the most important is crisp. Whenever crisp is maxed out, it's going to give weak point damage 5%, which is a huge damage buff. I would suggest anyone creating a food buff recipe to try and use 5 crisp items to max this bonus out. The nice thing with this new update is you can mix and match these subcategories. So for me personally, I think damage is always king. I will always be aiming to use 5 crispy meats for 10% damage and 5% weak point damage. So this is just my personal plan, and I might change it sometimes too. We have a lot of freedom in making custom recipes now, so use the recipe that's right for you. I'll show you all my daily gather route later in the video. I find my recipe will be pretty quick and easy to farm daily. So if you look down in the video description below, there is chapters in the video play bar and also the video description. If you needed to navigate there quickly, just make sure that you use that to bounce around. So let me give you all an example of something here. So this is a nice little mix and match thing. Say like whenever one of those new ultra hard difficulty quests comes out and you don't really know how to do the fight, and you only have so many heals during the fight, you only have so many lives before the quest fails, right? So a nice little recipe that you could use here is like, say I could come to the Ryuker And I could use robust Stia meat, for example, which is going to give me the HP recovery plus 50%. That means every time I use a rest assign, it's going to give me 50% more healing from that. So I'll probably heal up all the way from just using one. And you can see that it's maxed out my meat potency, right? So from here, I can also still get my weak point damage like if I was using crisp meats, but I can just do that with using one vegetable, also using one fruit, and also using 3 of these here shellfish. And you can see that's going to give me my same similar setup that I had from before that I was showing y'all, just it's not going to be the rich setup now. I have a robust crisp going on. So you can see that I would actually have like a maxed out potency and a maxed out weak point damage, as well also some damage resistance, also an HP buff, a PP buff, and also that HP recovery from my rest assign is going to be huge. So this is something that you could use for some of those ultra hard difficulty quests. Maybe whenever you're trying to learn those, this would be a pretty good solid little like learning food, or just a good food in general, really. I mean, this is pretty solid here too. There's all sorts of possibilities of different like food recipes that you can come up with. This is just like a random example here for y'all that would still do really good damage. Like this would be perfectly fine for running the quest and doing maximum damage, maximum DPS. So all it is you just want to make sure that you use 5 of something and 5 of something else. So I'm using 5 crisps here, and I'm also using 5 robust here. Okay, so this is going to be my method for getting crispy meats from Retem, and this is really easy. So we come to the Ryuka right here in West Retem. You can see that we're at this Ryuka right here at the bottom of West Retem. And what we do is we travel here, we have a passworded room to where enemies still spawn, and we just jump down. You can see there's already some camels right here. These camels give you crispy meats. I have Zonde set up so I can just tag them from far away and kill them and get that. And we jump down here inside of this pit area here, and there's just tons of camels all throughout this little pit area here. Now along the way, there's also going to be some of the materials that I want to gather daily in here. For the rich seafood's going to be in here too. So you can see that inside of this pond right here, there's going to be some of these rich seafood items we're going to be gathering inside of here. And there's tons of other enemies and meats and tames in here as well, but I'm mainly focused on my rich seafood, my rich fruit, and also these crispy meats from these camels. There's some more camels there. You can see they're just kind of all over the place, and I can make these even like respawn too. So I'm going to keep on walking further through here, looking off to the left and the right. You can see some more camels over this way. We'll go ahead and tag those up too. That's more crispy meats. And then there's another pond right here along the way too, which has more of these shellfish inside of here, which is the rich shellfish. And I'm going to grab up these as well. So after I grab up all of those, then we're going to go look for some more camels along the way towards the next pond. And we can kill some more camels too. Right here is going to be another group of them. Get all those, and just looking to the left and the right, you can see that I don't really see too many more. There's actually some rich like enemies here there's actually a couple more enemies there for rich tame meat too. Here's some more camels. And once we get to this last little pond area right here, this is actually where the last of my rich seafood is going to be for the day. And this is pretty much where I would reset, and I would travel back to that Ryuka, making a new password, resetting the room so I can get more camels. There's actually some I missed right here too. Make sure I tag those up too. Okay, so you can see that I grabbed up all of my seafood along the way. I got a bunch of camels along the way. This is actually a lot of buffs that I have already for the day, right? But if I want to just keep on farming this for a little bit, what I'm going to do is I'm going to travel back to this Ryuka right here. Now, once I get to this Ryuka right here, I'm going to go ahead and open up the room settings, and I'm going to just alter the password a little bit. I'm going to change the password to have one additional digit on it. So we'll just add like a random letter there, so it makes a new instance here. So we have a whole new instance map. Then I'm just going to jump down into the valley here and just repeat the same thing again. And I'm going to just randomly find enemies spawned in new locations here now. Along this way, since we're not going to be getting any of the shellfish anymore because that's just a daily reset spawn, right? But I can still like farm crispy meats this way. Here's like a pack of camels, for example. So, you know, this is a really good method that you can do if you're solo, just looking to get some crispy meats really quick. Like I said, I've already pretty much gotten enough to where I could just use this all day. You can already see, like, just in a matter of minutes here, like how much crispy meats we've gotten from doing this, just from getting our daily shellfish that we needed. So yeah, this is a pretty nice method, I would say. Here's some more crispy camels right here. So this is going to be really good for our buffs that we have all day. And just pretty much what I'm doing this time is I'm just making my way back to that third pond again, inside of this lower pit. Sometimes you'll find more camels through here on your run-throughs than you will other times. Here's another little pack here off to the side. It also depends on your draw distance that you have in your settings to whether you'll see them from like how far away and whatnot. Yeah, once I get to this pond here, I would just reset and do the same thing again. I didn't get as many that passed through this time, but it just kind of varies, a little bit of RNG. Sometimes you'll find a bunch of camels along the way, sometimes you'll find more or less. Okay, so when it comes to my rich Retem fruit, and this is going to be a really easy one, you can just come to the oasis here in the middle of central Retem, and it's all lined up around these trees right here around the oasis. So this is a really easy quick grab every day. You can just travel to this Ryuker over here and just hit all these little trees over here. It has a bunch of these little cherries inside of it. It's not going to be as many as we got from over inside of Kvaris when it came to gathering there, but you see there's several of these cherry trees right here. We'll just grab these up real quick just as the interactive map had showed us, and we'll pretty much grab these and we're done with that. Then we'll open up our map and we can travel to this this cocoon right here, and there's going to be a couple more trees right next to it too. They've pretty much made it to where there's like a quick travel point for every one of these that you want to grab up. So we'll go over here real fastly and grab these as well. You can see the cherry tree right in front of the Ryuker right here in front of us right here. So I'm going to go over here and grab this, some more cherries right here, and as well a little bit more off to the side here as well. And grab up these two. And you can see there's a nice little like lined up cluster of them along the way. So from here, after we grab this one, this should be the last one, I do believe. Just make sure we take a little look around. Yeah, it looks like that was the last one. And then from there, there's going to be some more right in front of this Ryuker, right next to the pyramid too. So we'll travel to it real fastly, and we'll just travel a little bit up, and we're going to see some more of these cherry trees that we'll grab up real quick. And this is really quick for a nice little daily grab. So from here, we'll go ahead and just travel up a little bit. We should start seeing some trees right here in this general area. It's going to be right up here next to the pyramid. So you can see I got some off to the right here, and there's also going to be some off to the left as well. So nice little cluster, nice little quick grab that we can go and get a hold of here. Grab up these, and then lastly, we're going to be going over here. There's another tree right next to the base of the pyramid too. It looks like there's, all in all, there's about 4 of them roughly in this region. Oh, there's actually another one right here I missed as well too. Grab this too. I'm pretty much trying to just keep an eye out to make sure I don't miss any. This is my first day really grabbing up all of these fruits and stuff, but this is going to turn into like a daily thing that I'll just kind of make my little laps and routines doing. This is going to be like a matter of like minutes each day, right? And here's going to be one more. So I think all in all, that was roughly about 5 trees in this little area right here. Okay, so here we're going to be gathering our rich Retem round eggplant. So this is going to be our vegetables. This is pretty easy to find. I have the markers here on my map showing you in North Retem is where you're going to find these rich veggies, these 3 different locations right here. So first up, I'm going to fast travel to this region mag right here, the region mag in North Retem. And when you go here, if you turn around, you can go here towards the south, like towards the pyramid. Right here below us is going to be a bunch of these vegetables right here. There's a whole bunch of them here in this area right here too. Some down here through this pathway right here. We'll grab those up real quick. Turn back around, and there's just a whole bunch of them here in this whole little area right here. Like, you can get quite a bit of these right here in this section. So we'll go here and just scoop all these. They're just kind of like circled around this little plateau area here. Right here's another. One more right here as well. And there could be a couple more up through here. Here too, and here's another. Yeah, so there's quite a bit of them up through here. Here's one more we missed as well. All right, and then from there we're going to be opening our map, and we're going to travel up here to the Ryuker here towards the north. Travel there, and there's quite a few of them that's going to be up here to grab too. This is a pretty quick, easy grab here. So there's a few of them right next to the Ryuker as soon as we teleport here, right on top of it basically. So you can come up here and grab up all of these too. Grab those. They're just kind of circled around here. It's really nice having these quick, like, fast locations that we can travel to like this, right? And then from here, if we go towards the north a little bit further of the Ryuker, I have a Gigantix here. Hopefully he's not going to kill me, but there's a lot of those spread around here through this area too. There's also some of these, like, these other items here that you can grab if you want to from these trees, but the ones I'm after is these vegetables. You can also get a host of these crisp fruits from the trees here too. But there's this whole little section right here actually has quite a few of these vegetables, so quite a few of these eggplants spread around through here as well. And you'll find them just all in this little area right here consolidated along with these trees. Yeah, this Gigantix really wants to come after me while I'm trying to show you all my little daily gathering route so we can have some some good food to have. This is actually this is going to be a big enough buff for us to last for a couple days, probably, depending on how much we're playing, right? So there we go. We've gotten all that because we only use like one of these per like food buff session anyways. Oh no, the Gigantics has found me. All right, so quickly we're going to travel to our next destination. We're going to this cocoon right here, the narrow cave, so we're going to travel there real quickly. And from here, it's not exactly close to where we're going, but it's close enough, so we're just going to float over to the next area. So once we travel to this cocoon, if we just turn and go to the left, right behind the cocoon, there's going to be this section of the map over here. It's this hilltop, and that's where we're just going to fly right over to here. And all along this like hilltop right here that you can see, there's just tons of these vegetables throughout here too. So you can see one right here as we land. Grab it, and further along you can see some just like spread throughout the hill as we're working our way up the mountain here. And yeah, they're just kind of circled around this area too. There's quite a few of them over here actually, so yeah, this is quite a bit to gather up. See, as we come up here, there's going to be another one right there, another one over here behind the tree. You could actually have your mag sonar active, getting you all of these if you really want it to help out, just in case if you think you might miss some. It's going to be a little weird though, because the mag might lead you to other stuff that's you're not really looking for, right? Like you can't really make like a specific ping for just that item alone, I don't think. So yeah, but you can see we've grabbed up quite a few of them here. We have some of those trees here too with those crisp items too, which you might find useful at some point. Here's going to be one more that we missed. And yeah, that's pretty much gonna do that for this section here. That's all of our daily gather for the veggies. So for this area here, we're going to be farming Razor Gorge, and hopefully you have a bunch of these low temperature resist items. As you can see, I have a bunch of these. Sega just randomly gives these out, and you also get them from like PSE farming inside of Lost Central and just various other things in the game. So as long as you have a 100% one of these things here, you'll be able to not get killed by the low temperature resistant here. Otherwise, you're probably going to get frozen. You want to make sure that you stay close to this fire thing here, and it's going to put like a little circle of fire around you. And if you go to the north of here, you'll actually find just along the way through the Razor Gorge, along the way, there's going to be like little torches that you can interact with here. You hit the button, it lights up the little torch, and it resets the timer of the fire that's around you from going away. I think it's roughly like a minute or something like that those will last. And along the way, as you go through here, you'll see all these little tame enemies, like these manta ray looking enemies and stuff. We kill these, and they're going to give us like some robust meats and some notable meats and stuff like that. And there are also going to be some of these Ortica enemies that look like little seals, and they're going to give us crispy meats along the way too. And we just kind of travel up through here, just interacting with little torches and just like throwing Zonde around. And as we get to the north, all the way up to the north, we're just going to repeat going back to the Ryuker. Let's go through here again. Now, if you have a booster on, you're actually going to be getting a lot of the meats off of each one of these Zonde casts, or these mobs, you know. And along the way, there's this going to be tames all throughout here that you can just kind of just cast like long range with your Zonde, or using like a rifle with the homing darts, or Waker with the Fredrin breath, or what have you. And pretty much all these things in here can just get one-tapped with some sort of a mobbing PA. So pretty much once you get to the top of the gorge, once you've ran all the way down, you'll be like here at the end where there's like this frozen like waterfall kind of area. All you got to do is just open up the map and just teleport back to the Ryuker again, and all those enemies are going to be respawned basically by now, and you can just make your way through the north again. Once you go through this a couple of times, you'll have quite a bit of meats. You could probably get anywhere from like 500 to 1,000 meats in an hour or something, depending on your rare drop rate and also just how lucky you get with like the enemies spawning. You just run through here over and over. Now, a really good way that you could do this here in Razor Gorge is if you have like 4 friends or more, you can actually get an MPA of people here. And if everybody kind of spreads out, like if you have some people up here in the north, you have some people here in the middle, and you have some people down here at the bottom, in these spawns here, as long as you're like throwing around Zonde or like Waker, like Fredrin Breath or something like that, homing darts, whatever, as long as you're using like really fast like mobbing AoE clearing, you can actually force these spawns over and over and over. If the whole map is getting like killed like in various locations here, it actually kind of turns the area into like a PSZ sector kind of in a way. Now this is actually how I ended up having so many meats. So if you look here in my inventory, you can see that I have 10,000 notable Kvaris meat, 16,000 robust Kvaris meat, and also 3,000 crisp Kvaris meat. That's because a couple of months ago we did this like MPA that we did here in the gorge, and we just had people in various locations, and we was all just like, you know, killing this like a PSE sector, and I've probably gotten like 7,000 crisp meat or something. It's been lasting me a really long time. It's going to last even longer now that we only need to use 5 instead of 10. So you can see from here I am on the top of the mountain in North Kvaris, and I'm going to grab up some of my fruit here. So I've traveled to the top of Ryuker here, and we're going to go just a little bit down to the north of here. And right here is going to be one tree that's going to have some persimmons in it. We'll go ahead and grab that. And then further along, up further north, there's going to be a valley up here. We're going to have to float a little ways to get to it, but there's going to be more of them up here too. Now I can bring up my area map here and see that I'm flying towards like the little icon markers that I've made on the map that I told you all about earlier. So make sure that once you get to these locations, make sure that you open up the map where you're standing next to like the trees and stuff, and just leave a little marker. So it makes it really easy for you to fly over to these things whenever it comes to getting like your further like daily fruits and stuff. So you can see that when I had this map, they're right below me here, just like my icon was showing, I'm right on top of them. So I'll come down here and just grab up all these. There's also some like gathering materials down here too, if you want to bust up those, the minerals and whatnot. I'm just going to grab these fruits here right now just to show that stuff. And there's going to be 4 total trees down here. Sometimes one of them might be missing some, but all in all, it's a really good daily grind to hit. And then I'm also going to open up my map again, and I'm going to travel over here to the bottom of the mountains Ryuker right here. It's going to be pretty close to that region mag. It's right above it. And whenever we travel over here, there's going to be some more persimmon trees right here too in this region. If you turn around, usually there's a tree right here in front of the Ryuker that has some. For today, for whatever reason, it doesn't have it, but a lot of times this does have some too. But if you turn around, there's going to be 3 other trees right here, so quite a bit of extra persimmons here as well. We'll go ahead and grab up all of these. And then from there, we're going to be traveling a little bit off to the side. If we was to go and open up the map, you can see that I've marked, there's going to be another location. It's going to be right next to the Dark Falls Dalian Planet Crusher Blitz. Next to the portal for that, so we'll travel over there. It's pretty convenient. They've actually put like all these like quick travel locations right next to all the stuff that we need. So right here you can see when we turn around, there's going to be several other trees right here too, and there's also like some vegetables in the ground here. I don't really care about these, but I'll grab them anyways just because they're along the way. But I'm going to grab up more of these fruits here, and this is pretty much going to be covering me for the whole day of running, you know. Like I wouldn't run through all these buffs by the time, you know, even if I played like 24 hours, this should be enough to last me pretty much all day, because these buffs last like every time that you use them, it's going to last for 4 hours at a time. Now from here, there's also going to be a little bit more. As you can see on my map marker here, I've put another marker right next to where the dread enemy is here in North Kvaris. So I'm going to travel a little bit further up this way. I'm going to open up my map to make it just a little bit easier for me to navigate myself. And I'm going to just go towards that icon. You can see we're going towards that dread. He's spawning on my map right now too. And there's going to be a tree right down here next to him, and a couple of other trees too. Here's one right here. We'll go ahead and grab that up, and as you can see, there's a couple of them right down here in like his little like area, like his spawn area too. And we'll just grab those up. There's some more vegetables down here too in case you need those. And then yeah, we'll just grab up all these little trees. And that should be pretty much it. So that should be all of the spawns, I believe, in Kvaris here, as the interactive map had showed us. Now from here, I'm also going to travel out there to the region mag on the beach in West Kvaris, and I'm going to grab up my seafoods out there too. That way so I can get like some nice little HP buff to go along with it too. Using a combination of both the HP buff and the PP buff is going to be pretty nice, I'd say, in general. So from out here, there's going to be a bunch of this stuff just out here randomly on the beach. And from traveling to the region mag, you just travel a little bit up towards the north, and you'll just see a bunch of it along the coastline. As you just run up through here, through the coastline, you'll find a bunch of these snails through here, these rich Kvaris snails. So that's going to be a little bit of an HP buff that we'll be getting from these. And you can see there's just scattered all along the beach as we run up to the north. Pretty nice little cluster. It's all pretty consolidated. You don't really have to run all over the place to find this stuff. It's pretty easy. And just come through here daily, and it just takes a matter of minutes, right? Now, when it comes to these snails in particular, there's some up to the north of the mag, and then there's some also like down to the south of the mag, down towards like the veteran enemy that spawns down here too. So you just want to like run up and down the coastline just to make sure you try to grab up all of them. And yeah, doing this every day, you're gonna have a nice stockpile of this like pretty good, decent like food buff for yourself. If you're wanting to use the same food buff that I'm using, you're gonna have a lot of this stuff to use every day. And it only takes a matter of minutes just to grab all this up. If you see any of these Kvaris deers here, like I can see there off in the distance along the way, make sure that you kill those too. See that cluster of all those right there? I've got my Zonde lined up. I'm about to wipe them all out here in a minute. Once I get all these snails here, we'll just grab up all of these. And there's a ton of deers down here. So these deer enemies here actually give us crispy meats too. Okay, so for the Kvaris region, I'm going to be showing you all here how to get the rich carrots. So this will be our rich vegetables in the Kvaris region. We're going to travel over to West Kvaris right here at the top of the mountain, Mount Athana East. And you can see my icons right here where I have these rich carrots. These are actually kind of annoying to grab, but it's not too bad. So I'll go ahead and show y'all here what we would do. So as soon as we get out of here, we're just gonna go down to the south a little bit here. And there's actually some right here on this little mountain slope. You can see that I've put my icons, so it's gonna help me to know exactly where I'm going pretty much. That way so I'll know where these are, because you can really get lost in these mountains really easy. So here's a couple right here. They're just sticking up out of the snow a little bit, so it's a little hard to see. But there we go, we got those two. There's only just a couple of them right here in this section right here. And then if we go just a little bit further down here, there's actually some underneath of this mountain peak right here too. There's usually just one down here, but we can quickly go over here and grab it. So it's actually, my icon's slightly below it because I didn't want to put it on the mountain to confuse myself, but it's right here, right underneath of this peak is where it would actually be. So it's there, and then from there I'm just going to travel back to the Ryuker because it's going to make it a little easier, because the next one's going to be on a different peak further down the way. So we'll go ahead and travel back here again real fast, and then upon traveling here we're going to go down to this way, and the next we're going to be going to this peak underneath of here. So down there is going to be another little group of them. Gonna make our way over there, and once we get there, there's actually a pretty big cluster of carrots right here. So even if you just daily just hit this one little cluster right here, you could probably keep your buffs like self-sustained. If you're only using like one of these like a day, or per food buff session, it's pretty easy to get a hold of these. So this right here is going to be the mountain. You can see as we're going up to the top of the hillside here, you can see like some of them are going to be up here along the way, and there's quite a few of them here like I'd mentioned. So we'll just grab all these up over here. Kind of look left and right, make sure we don't miss out on any. You might want to turn around and just look down and see if you see anything glowing. Looks like I got everything, I believe. Okay, and then from there, we're gonna go back down the side of this mountain here and over to this little airlifter right here. And if we travel up this airlifter, there's actually more of them right here on this little mountain peak as well. So we can just flip all of these too. So this is a nice little cluster right through here that we just grabbed up. All of these right here, so grab all those, and that should be pretty much it. Oh no, I missed one more. One more right there. Yeah, so that was a lot of rich veggies right there that we got. So that would last me for a few days, honestly. Like if I'm just using a couple of buffs a day, I'm only going to be using one vegetable, so that's not too bad. Okay, so that's going to be wrapping it up for the video. Hopefully you all found this video guide helpful. Hopefully you'll be able to figure out where to go to for the proper meats and recipes for fruits and veggies and everything that you need for your personal playstyle. It's going to be no real right answer or right or wrong answer, just make up what's right for you and gather up your personal stuff. Sometimes I might use different recipes than what I've been showing you all here too, so it's really nice to know how to use these interactive maps and everything to go and find what you're looking for daily. Speaking of what you're looking for daily, I have been streaming on Twitch, so if y'all want to come over to Twitch and follow me on Twitch, it's NiNjahCheeto. Come over there and hang out with me sometime. I'll be streaming every now and then, and we'll be gaming it up, Love to have you pop in and say hello and hang out a little bit. That's going to be wrapping it up for the video. If you found the video helpful, a like rating is always appreciated, and if you're new here, be sure to subscribe for more if you haven't already. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Stay safe and have a wonderful day, friends. I'll see you all in the next one.